Then we have another important term in that formula, that is utilization factor. What is utilization factor? Now, the other main factor we need to consider when we are planning a lighting scheme is the utilization factor. Now, if you look at this factor, this effectively measures how effective the design of the lighting scheme is by looking at the amount of light that actually reaches the surface that is to be illuminated. So that is what it does. And it has a number of component parts as well. And one of the main factors affecting the overall utilization factor is what we call the room proportion, and the distance between the luminal and the working surface, and it is illuminating, sorry, and the working surface, it is illuminating, and this is given by what is called the room index. And for room index, it is symbolized with K, which is equals to room length times the room width, then divided by L plus W times HRC. Remember, this your HRC is the room cavity size. Now, let's take a look at this now. Let's take a look at what we have here. Uh, this is talking about uh, the next action once we have been able to calculate the number of luminaires so that is being required. Then we have to look at the layout of the array. I wish this can be planned, in such a way that it will fit the size of the room we are working with. Now, to do that, the number length ways is calculated by using capital letter N multiplied by length divided by the width, and the number width way is calculated by using the square root of capital letter N multiplied by the width divided by the length. So this is the formula for number width ways, and this is the formula for number length ways. So with that, we can easily do the array. Now, let's take a look at this practical problem now. Suppose you are working with a company, and that company gives you this task to do, and the task is that a room measures 5.5 meter by 8 meter, and it requires a minimum level of 250 lux. Looking at that, we have that the lamps that are to be used are rated at 1230 lm each, using luminaires that have 2 lamps per fitting. If the maintenance factor is given as 0.8 and the utilization factor is 0.78, you are required to calculate the number of the fittings that you will need. So how do we do that? Now, to do that, you must understand the formula itself. That to calculate this in that formula, what we have for our n, the number of luminals that we have, according to what we have, this is the formula now. N is equals to capital letter N is equals to E multiplied by A divided by N multiplied by F multiplied by MF. Then we must also know what each of these things means. Remember that your small letter n is the number of lamps in the luminal, and your capital letter N is the number of luminals that you want to calculate. Your F is the lumens per lamp, and your MF is the maintenance factor. Your utilization factor, that is your UF. And remember, this your A is talking about the area, which is length times breadth. So now let's go back to our question and get the question solved correctly. Now let's take a look at the problem, and let's solve the problem that we have here. This is the problem we have here now. So the room area now is equals to 5.5 meter multiplied by 8 meter, which will give you 44 meter square. And our n is equals to 250 multiplied by 44 divided by 2 multiplied by 1230 times 0.8 times 0.78, which is equals to 7.166. So if you round this up, it means the number of luminaires we'll be using is 8, while our NL will be equals to square root of 8 multiplied by 8 divided by 5.5, which is equals to 3.41, and that will give us 4 by rounding this one up, by rounding it up to 4. Let's just make it 4. Then our NW, that will give us square root of 8.8 times 5.5 divided by 8, which is 2.34. And if we round this one down to 2, we are going to have 2 for this. So these are how to calculate this when you are given this to do in any installation. So by the time we'll be looking at the third lecture under electrical installation of building or electrical installation, we will be looking at it into more details. So in that class, we'll be looking at how to carry out the spacing and every other aspect which has to do with this electrical installation. So that is that for the purpose of this lecture 2 on electrical installation. If you have any question, you can just let me know before we call it a day today, and we meet tomorrow for electronics measurement and testing lecture 2, while we meet on Thursday for our engineering mathematics. So just let me know if you have any question.